successful entrepreneurs who have different challenges and go bankrupt, or the business fails or something, they just get, very quickly they get back to where they were, and that is all down to mindset, really. I mean, that's the one differentiator between, if you're looking at two different people, one of them is someone who knows it's going to work, and one of them is someone who thinks it might work. The one that knows it's going to work and has that 100% belief is going to get results so much faster. It's just a no-brainer. It's just going to happen.
You're listening to The Growth Booth, the show focused on achieving lifestyle freedom through online businesses. Whether you're looking for step-by-step strategies to start building an online business, simple game plans to grow your business, or proven lifestyle freedom frameworks, you are in the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join the thousands of listeners already in growth mode.
Hey everyone, Aidan Booth here. Welcome to episode number 78 of The Growth Booth. And this episode is the second in a new series called Decoding Success, where I'll interview people who have built very successful online businesses. Now, a couple of episodes ago, episode number 76, I interviewed Ricardo, a student from Portugal who overcame a range of different challenges to build a reliable and lucrative online business. Now, today, tuning in from almost the exact opposite side of the world in Sydney, Australia, is Vaughan. Now, you may remember Vaughan. He's been on the show before, episode number 53, where he and a few other course members shared some results specifically related to a cost per action CPA affiliate marketing. That, however, isn't the only thing that Vaughan has succeeded with. Prior to diversifying into affiliate marketing, Vaughan built and still runs an e-commerce business that has earned him hundreds of thousands of dollars. So how did he do it? What kept him motivated? And how did he avoid all of the distractions that are out there for online marketers, all of the too good to be true opportunities that keep popping up? How did he manage to build a business while also holding down a day job and being a hands-on dad of 3 kids? So that's what we're going to try to find out today. Vaughan, thanks for taking some time out of your day to join me here. Always great to catch up with you.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. It's excellent, and looking forward to chatting further.
Can you share a little bit about yourself, your backstory, and your journey to seeing success online?
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, a little bit of backstory then. I was originally born in New Zealand and moved to Australia close to 20 years ago. So made Sydney, Australia my home. Got a background in IT. So been involved in the IT industry for quite a while. As you mentioned, 3 boys, 2 kind of teenagers, and one almost a teenager, or thinks he's a teenager. So very active in in that area. They're all into competitive swimming, which basically means early morning starts for me every single morning. So yes, very busy in regards to that. I started working on computers way back, really when I don't know, some people may know the BBSs. This was before the internet. They called them bulletin board systems, where we used to connect up on dial-up modem, showing my age there a little bit, I think. But this is when I got involved in computers and I always had that kind of business mindset from there. I started my own computer business, selling computer hardware to kind of friends at school and through uni. That kind of moved in and essentially paid for my first car and my university courses and what have you. It was around about that time when Robert Kiyosaki became a little bit more known, and my friend gave me the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And started to read that and soak up the information there and really kind of, I guess, opened my eyes a little bit to what was possible. So started looking at various other ways of generating income and got that whole passive income mindset. I've been involved in a lot of other areas, stocks and options trading, foreign exchange, network marketing, real estate, pretty much everything really, other traditional businesses. And I guess obviously with the progression of the internet, online business then made sense. So diversifying into and getting into online businesses was just a natural progression from there. Just for, I guess, the global reach of everything now.
Awesome.
The internet's making everything smaller. So
Yeah.
That's a little bit of background.
I remember when the Robert Kiyosaki first book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, burst onto the scene. A friend of mine actually gave it to me as well, and that was that really opened my eyes to a whole world that I didn't really know existed, and this whole concept of passive income. And I read that book a few years before starting my online business, and I think I took a lot of the lessons from that to my online business, and eventually also built out a portfolio. So really interesting. There's a few parallels there. Now, can you remember a moment in your journey when the penny dropped, so to speak? Maybe it was when you made your first sale, or when you just knew that, okay, wow, I'm actually going to succeed with this. This is not just an idea, maybe like ideas you'd had in the past, but this is real. For me, for example, it was getting my first sale, not even the first sale, but getting my first check in the mail. It was checks in the mail for affiliate payments way back then. And I remember looking at it like, holy crap. Taking it into the bank in New Zealand, it was a US dollar check. So the bank teller sort of looked at me and, what are you doing with this $35 check kind of a thing. But that moment for me is like engraved in my mind and in my memory, because there was a massive before and after. Was there something like that in your journey?
Yeah, look, I do remember it. I can get into the details a little bit later, but essentially, look, my first sale was a complete disaster. It was hilarious, and I'll get into that shortly as well. But it probably wasn't really until probably my third or fourth sale where things really, it kind of just took off, and it was like I got the confidence, and I knew, okay, this definitely works. Whoa, okay, I can if I just keep doing it. And doing it, then and growing it from there. It's just a matter of repeating it. So it was around about 6 months or so, probably into it, where the penny dropped, and it was like, right, this is it. This is working. Excellent. Let's go.
And what was that first product, or those early products that you were selling? If you can share those.
Yeah, it was just a simple shoe rack. Was my very first sale. It was, look, I listed a few various types of products there, and I just thought it was a common enough product that people wanted, so I put it up there. I found it on eBay there, and it was cheap enough, and I thought, rightio, let's give it a shot. It was, like I said before, it was a little bit of a disaster where. The sale went through, no problem. The shipping come through. It was on its way, and then the customer reached out to me via email and said, "Oh, I am moving house and I needed to change my address." And it was already on the way it was already set in stone. So I didn't really know what to do. It was my very first sale. I was going, "Oh my God, this is this drop shipping. Oh man, hopefully all the things are not, all sales are not going to be like this, right?" So anyway, I spent probably way too long trying to, get it over the line. I was reaching out to the courier company, trying to get it, the customer to go to the old address when it was delivered and all this. And they eventually got it. It worked out in the end, but I spent probably 2 or 3 hours in total, and a lot of stress as well, making sure that the first sale was a success.
Right, yeah.
So I'll never forget.
It's funny because if that happened to you now, it would just be like a non-issue. It would be water off a duck's back, keep on going, not even make you blink kind of a thing. But I can sort of relate to that. One of the first products I sold, physical products I sold from an e-commerce store, was a futon cover, and I had something similar happen where the woman that bought it, she must have had buyer's remorse or something. It was a $50 futon cover, and she said, "Oh, you know what? I don't know if this is going to be right for me." And inside, I was thinking, "Come on, you bought it. You're buying this. You're going to love it." This is anyway. The sale went through okay, but it's kind of Murphy's Law. Your first sale, and you get these random, unexpected things happening. Now, I remember you mentioning, though, that one of your kids was sort of the magic bullet that ended up helping you really sort of start crushing it online. Can you share that story and I remember it being sort of quite amazed by it.
Yeah, well, look, it would have been about 6 months into learning and kicking things off, and I guess I was almost at that point where the fire was almost out. I was basically a week away from quitting. I tried everything. Had all the challenges that people have, no different. And I remember talking to my middle kid. Actually, he was 10 at the time, and he said, "Oh no, Dad, how's your ecom business going? How's you're making much money yet?" And I said, "Oh, it's going okay." I was trying to be positive because this is my middle kid's the most positive out of the three of them. He's always got that glass is half full mindset, and he said, "Well, can I help? Can I make money with it too?" And I said, "Well, look, I'll tell you what. I'll show you how to find some products. You go and list some. Go and find some. I'll give you the criteria, and if you come up with any good ones, we'll list them for you, and we'll go halves." And he goes, "Okay, awesome." So he set off, came back, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours later, and we put a few up there, and would have been maybe 3 or 4 hours later, the first one sold, and I was like, "Whoa, hold on a minute! I've just spent 3 months trying to sell second or third product, and in 4 hours he sells one." It's like, come on, this is not fair. And so he said, "Well, come on, let's do some more. Let's do some more." So we kind of sat down together and researched some more and what have you, and we found a product that I still sell today, and I've sold literally thousands of them. It's absolutely transformed my business. So that one
That's
little
amazing.
now he keeps reminding me, "Hey Dad, you meant to go halves with me for all these sales." It's like, yeah, go away.
That's awesome. Was that a product that you think you never would have tried testing unless your son sort of randomly chose it? Or because sometimes I've found that it's the products that I least expect to do well, or I'm testing out multiple products, and then you never really know which one's going to take off. What's the story there?
Oh, you don't. You're right, and it's probably something I wouldn't have. Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't have listed it. I was quite surprised that it did. So, that just goes to prove that
thousands of sales later,
anyone can do it. Really.
Yeah, sitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But so no, that was good. But that caused me to continue on, and I definitely wouldn't be here today if it wasn't. For him, that's for sure.
What about some of the biggest challenges that you faced while setting up your business? You said that in the first 6 months you got to a point where you were almost ready to give up. Maybe there were some challenges that you can remember there, or even challenges that you've had since then, since you sort of made your breakthrough.
Yeah, I think in the early days I was definitely getting probably too emotional with the customer queries, customer complaints, things like that. That was I was definitely taking them too far and taking them too personal, because you obviously, it was early days and you wanted to please everybody, and it's just, you just can't do it, right? Things are outside of your control, delivery issues.
You also expect that every customer is rational, whereas it's just not the case. There's just so many emotionally charged customers out there that it can be surprising.
I know. Yeah, it definitely can, and it's just, you can't do it. Things you've got no control over, like delivery, couriers. You're trying your best to please them, and then but so that definitely took a little bit of a toll to start with. The ways I got around it is I outsourced it. I outsourced the customer service now, so I don't even know about most of them.
That's perfect.
I outsourced that stuff, so which is good. It takes a big relief off my mind. So look, that definitely I mean, this was over COVID as well, so this is why I was having so many delivery issues. They're not such a problem anymore. Right. I think the world was having delivery issues. Just
finally come right.
That was part of it.
What about maybe some of the mistakes that you've made along the way, where you can see now that, I would have done that differently? Is there anything like that you can share with folks?
Yeah, look, I probably biggest one really is a little bit like what we touched on before, is just giving up too early. I was there. I was basically a week away from giving up, and that's, looking back on it, that would have been a huge mistake.
Yeah.
So that was, having that, or finding something that just allows you to carry on and get through it, and going through, continuing on. It kind of taught me that if you just keep going, success is closer than you actually think it is. So that's, that would have been a huge mistake.
Today's show is brought to you by the Blueprint Academy, a coaching service that I've been providing for about 8 years now. If you're interested in getting one-on-one coaching from me and my team of experts, as well as being able to leverage the resources and infrastructure that I've got in my business, then head over to thegrowthbooth.com/academy to get all the details. I'm passionate about helping people build businesses online, and this is where I can help you. So again, head over to that link, thegrowthbooth.com/academy, and find out how we can help you at the Blueprint Academy today.
I think one way that people can sort of mitigate that is by building a success circle of some kind, and these can take different shapes. They can be virtual, online, they can be physical, in person. Having someone to talk to about the business. It could be a partner or a loved one or a friend, someone who can encourage you to keep going through the tough times, because we're all going to hit speed bumps. But the speed bumps that you hit when you're getting started can completely derail you to the point of giving up, whereas a speed bump, once you're established, is just that, a speed bump. So Vaughan is actually came in as a member of our Blueprint Academy and is also one of our coaches in the Blueprint Academy. And that one of the reasons we set up the Blueprint Academy was to work with people and sort of be that shoulder to cry on, that moral support, and help people form their own success circle. So I mention that because I think a success circle, or having people who will encourage you to keep going, and being surrounded by like-minded individuals, people who know that online marketing is a genuine path to building an online business. I mean, that's something that can be a complete game changer. When I was getting started online, it was one of the things that I did actually was I had a coach, and month after month we would check in, and that would just help me keep pushing forward and give me a little bit of balance over the crazy months when things weren't quite going as I wanted them to go. It would just keep me focused on the bigger prize rather than getting tied up in the little challenges and things that would present themselves. So I know that for me, a success circle is something that I think can help people, bypass some of the challenges and mistakes early on, at least anyway.
Yeah, definitely helps. It's 100%. Get it? Yeah.
A lot of courses actually have those sort of built into them, like the courses that, to a certain degree anyway, the courses that we've done over the past few years have normally got forums, communities associated with them. I think then that's more of, that requires being proactive though, whereas if you've got sort of like a formal coach or a part of a mastermind, then that coach has got a responsibility to reach out to you. It's not relying on you being proactive. So anyway, something for people to consider there. Just to change things up a little bit now, your journey started with e-commerce, but you're also doing CPA marketing where you get paid for leads, you get paid for email addresses, and it's a completely different model. What was it that had you thinking about diversifying and going off into a new area if the e-commerce stuff was already going so well?
Yeah, it's it's always good to diversify. As you mentioned, my e-com business was going well, and it was running fairly systemized by itself. It didn't have too much involvement from me anymore. So it was essentially a case of right on to the next thing to expand the income. So I was kind of on the lookout for something else that could not so much directly, be in that space, but a total different vertical. So that's where CPA marketing come into it. They didn't rely on each other, which is the whole point of it, and it just made perfect sense, especially with I guess my knowledge of IT and what have you in the past. I found it fairly simple to get I guess grasp of the technical side of things, which is they're not huge, but it just made it a little bit easier to move forward with it. So it was just the next logical path to go through,
Right.
and yeah, which is why I got into it. So
And how do you manage to sort of run your business? And because I know you also you work your day job, you enjoy doing that. So you mentioned you've got a virtual assistant that helps doing customer support. Do you have other virtual assistants? Do you just have one sort of right-hand man, so to speak? How does that work?
yeah, look, I've got at the moment I've got a total of 3 VAs at the moment, which is good. They all work different, I guess, different areas of the business. They all specialize in different things, and different times as well. So we're in touch, throughout the days, which is good. So that definitely frees me up, and really makes it a hands-off business, which is great. So that allows me to do other things, like my day job, which like I said,
Being a taxi driver for the kids as well?
yeah. Oh, yes. Been a taxi driver and taking them around everywhere to all their activities.
Yeah,
and
I know what that's like.
and look, it's yeah, and look, balance is important, I think, as well, and just managing your time effectively. So I know weekends we usually keep free for family time. I try not to do anything
Yeah.
kind of business related in the
Yeah.
weekends. So it's very important to keep that
In
balance.
terms of scale, one of the questions I had for you was just to ask you if you've got any advice you would give to listeners who might be currently earning, I don't know, $1,000 a month for their online business, maybe even less than that, and obviously want to scale up to $10,000 or tens of thousands of dollars per month. Is there anything that you would say from your experience that helped you scale?
Look, definitely when I needed to scale, I got a VA, and that's when I scaled. That was my biggest leap forward. So I was at the point where I was doing everything myself, and as you can appreciate, there's a lot to do when you're doing everything yourself, and sometimes you don't do things as good as other people can do. So I got some really, really good advice, and took the plunge and hired a VA. Like, I was a little bit nervous at the time, obviously, but I did it, and it basically helped me scale from 1,000 to 10,000 in only a few short months, and it really I think it helped me focus on what the next steps were. I wasn't so much involved kind of doing the day-to-day stuff inside the business. I was more like I took a step back. I had someone else doing that now. I took a step back, and it allowed me to really kind of look at the more strategic kind of things on what we could do moving forward. So that was excellent. So yeah, that was the way to do it, because in a way you're kind of doubling your time. If you get
Totally.
a VA, or if you get 2 VAs, you're
Totally.
tripling it, right?
If you get multiple VAs, you could be
yeah.
tripling or quadrupling your time. I mean, I remember when I was getting started, at one point I had, I think it was like 5 or 6 different VAs, each working 8 hours a day, and I was like, wow, and that continues to scale. Like right now in my business, just to give you an example, we've got somewhere in the range of 140 to 150 people on the team, employees, and if I sit down and think, how many hours that allows me to get done in a day, it's quite phenomenal. So there's no real limit to that either, but certainly for a solopreneur starting out, having a single VA who can either be a jack of all trades and just help you with little bits and pieces, or take 1 or 2 things off your plate is huge. And to your point, it allows you to get out of the forest, out of the trees, and actually see the 10,000 foot overview. And I think even if someone hasn't got a VA, it's worth setting time aside to do that, because otherwise it's easy for people just to get tied up in the day-to-day operations, and it's like you're running on a treadmill. You just keep on running, and if you hop off, you stop, you sort of get overwhelmed. But if you plan into your week, even just an hour a week or a couple of hours each week, where you can sit down and sort of try to have a look at the bigger picture, see where you're at. It helps you identify opportunities for growth, and opportunities to design the business in such a way where you're not just a cog in the machine, and take a more strategic approach to it. So totally agree with that. Getting a VA, my business exploded actually when I got my first virtual assistant. That was when, it's very similar to what you said. It was, I got my first virtual assistant, and next minute I was doing so much more work, and the income took off. So totally agree with that. What about tools and software? Is there anything that has been crucial or that you use on a daily basis that you would share with people?
Tools, lots of tools. So obviously with an online business, you definitely need the right tools. I'm a big fan of keeping things simple. So what I mean by that is for tracking and what have you, I just use Excel.
Yep.
Nice and simple. Everyone's got it, and I use that. So, but look, for online, for my ecom store, there's obviously Cartsy, which is useful. Again, it does the job. It's nice and simple. You don't have to overthink things. It just works. For a CPA type of business, then you've got the float funnels and SendPad for emailing, which is, again, they work really well together and just integrate nicely. Makes things so much easier to set up. Funnel Flux is useful for tracking. There's another tool that I use, which is really, really good. Saves a lot of time, so definitely recommend that. Look, a few other, I use a bit of an in-house tool for handling customer queries and through the ecom business. But apart from that, just keeping it really simple.
What platform do you use for working with your virtual assistants? Or do you do that all through Skype or something, or how does that work?
Yeah, everything's Skype, and I use Notion, which is a kind of a free note-taking or kind of a document sharing kind of app. So I use that for basically putting SOP, standard operating procedures and instructions and what have you, and keeping track of everything in there, which is useful. It's just nice and simple. So that's another tool, awesome. Notion.
Good stuff.
For those that want something easy, but
We'll include a list of these tools, by the way, in the show notes, which everyone will be able to get access to by going to the Growth Booth, navigating to episode number 78, and we'll include a list of the different tools and bits and pieces that Vaughan has mentioned there. Now, just to sort of start wrapping up here, have you noticed that your mindset has changed throughout the journey of your online business? And if so, how has that sort of unfolded? What are the main sort of changes in, Vaughan as a person, and how, he sees the online business space today versus getting earlier on?
Yeah, look, definitely way more opportunities now. It's amazing. I mean, it's just, everything's moving so fast. I think from a mindset point of view, just the belief is just so way more stronger than it used to be. And it's just, with new opportunities opening up all the time, it's pretty much put everything, I guess, that I've learned over the last 20 years, and it's just, everything's falling into place and just coming together. So it's just amazing. It's such a good time to do online marketing, and at the moment it's just no better time. There's so much happening. It's exciting.
The belief thing is really interesting because when you've basically gone from having thoughts, thinking, I think I can do this, I think this could work, to knowing it. It's a fundamental shift. And one of the most common questions that I get, and we were actually speaking about this before the call, is people often ask me, and they ask you, through the Blueprint Academy coaching, does it actually work? And I think it's a perfectly natural question. I was certainly asking that question myself when I got started. But one of the easiest things that you can do if you want to, I think, accelerate your results is to set that question aside and put 100% faith and trust in that online marketing does work. Obviously, there are better courses out there, worse courses out there. I know that there are, some some online business models that probably don't work that well. But if you just look at the core business models that have stood the test of time online, e-commerce, there's only a few ways that you can really do e-commerce. You could have a dropship store. You could be selling physical products on Amazon. You could be, selling through the Facebook marketplace. And then you've got the different traffic channels. So you've got Facebook as a traffic channel. You've got Google for paid ads. You've got search engine optimization. You've got affiliate marketing. There's different types of affiliate marketing. But those models work. And we know they work because we do them. We know they work because lots of other people do them. So if you're starting out with an online business, you can set aside the question of, does it actually work? Because it does actually work. And once you know that, and once you stay focused on a simple plan, that's when you can get the results. So, and I think this is also one of the reasons, Vaughan, why, if your e-commerce business, if something were to happen to it and it didn't work anymore, or your CPA affiliate marketing business, I know with 100% certainty that you would be able to start again. And it might take you 6 months to grow, but you'd be able to start again. And this is why I think successful entrepreneurs who have different challenges and go bankrupt, or the business fails or something, they just get, very quickly they get back to where they were. And that is all down to mindset, really. I mean, that's the one differentiator between, if you're looking at two different people, one of them is someone who knows it's going to work, and one of them is someone who thinks it might work. The one that knows it's going to work and has that 100% belief is going to get results so much faster. It's just a no-brainer. It's just going to happen. The universe and that person's world sort of aligns to make that happen. So a couple of thoughts there. What's next for your business?
What's next? Look, currently expanding. It's been a fun year moving into CPA and expanding into that. So I still need to do and move forward with my ecom business still. There's still some areas there that can definitely move into and expand with. So that's definitely on the cards to scale that even further, and to also scale up the CPA business. That's kind of the goals for this year. And then, it's just, there's so many things on the list to do, as I guess, like we said before, and like you mentioned, there's just so many ways out there in the online space to make money, right? So I've got a huge list of all these things that I want to get into, but I've learnt, just to focus on one thing at a time.
Is there one piece of advice, maybe business advice, that you've received, or something that you've learnt that has maybe influenced your entrepreneurial journey that you would leave with our listeners here today?
Yeah, probably what I just touched on actually is I was pretty bad at the shiny object syndrome, so avoid it. There's so many things out there, so many distractions. Stick to one thing. I was told this, probably or just short of a year ago. Stick to one thing, make it really good. Just focus on it, do really good at it. Once you've got it systemized and pumping through, then you can move on to the next thing, to diversify. So, which is exactly what I did. I'd recommend that. It's one piece of advice that I received that's definitely helped my journey.
Fantastic.
So 100%.
Awesome. Well, look, Vaughan, thank you so much for taking time out to be here today. I think we've covered lots of interesting stuff, from the mindset that it takes to succeed online, to your story, which I think is hugely inspirational and motivational to a lot of our listeners who are going to be able to relate to everything that you're saying there, some of the mistakes that you made along the way, some of the different software tools that you've used, and how you've been able to explode your business with the help of virtual assistants. So thank you once again for being here, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah, excellent. Pleasure. Happy.
All right.
Looking forward to catching up again.
Fantastic. We'll definitely love to have you back. Now, that's a wrap for this show, guys. You can find out, you can see this show, get the show notes at episode number 78 of The Growth Booth. And as always, you can see the video version over at YouTube. Just do a search for The Growth Booth. You'll find us there, or wherever it is that you like to listen to your podcast. And I will see you on the next episode of The Growth Booth coming soon. Bye for now.